Tonight the weekend, I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. Got no reason not to celebrate. Baby, I just don't wanna wait. Tonight's the weekend, I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. Got no reason not to celebrate. Baby, I just don't wanna wait.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Tulsa Regional Chamber's State of the City, featuring Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum. We are honored to host the mayor today to address the Northeast Oklahoma business community. Now, please direct your attention to the stage.
Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Jezik, President of Sovereign Stewardship and the 2024 Chair of the Tulsa Regional Chamber. Welcome to the State of the City. To get us started, please rise for the national anthem sung by emerging country music artist from Tulsa and the winner of the inaugural Big Show Off competition, Jolene Brown.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow, Mayor, I don't know if you want to follow that. That was pretty amazing. Again, welcome to the Chamber's State of the City, featuring Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum. This is the mayor's 8th and final State of the City, and I'm happy to say we have 100% sold-out room today, with nearly 1,300 people in attendance, the largest State of the City the Chamber has ever hosted. Yeah. Today is a day to celebrate the city of Tulsa. Our city's outlook is strong, and the community and business leaders in this room have helped make that true. Now I'll give everyone 10 minutes to get started on lunch before we come back and hear Mayor Bynum's address. While we start, here are messages from some of our presenting sponsors.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Dada. At We Street Credit Union, we believe you deserve a financial partner you can trust. We are more than a credit union. We are committed to making our community a better place. We are your neighbors, around the corner, experiencing the same seasons you are. We provide personalized financial solutions that fit your needs. Join We Street to become a member of something more. We Street Credit Union. It's where you belong. Federally insured by NCUA.
Welcome back. As you continue to enjoy your lunch, I'd like to introduce you to our head table. Please hold your applause until I introduce everyone. Seated to my immediate right, your left, on the back row, Jason Collington, editor at the Tulsa World Media Company, a gold sponsor. Billy Gluns, managing director of public affairs at American Airlines, a legislative benefactor. Dr. Sue Pepin, Thomas E. Oxley, Dean of the College of Health and Natural Sciences at the University of Tulsa, a gold sponsor. Lindsay Hutchinson, President and CEO of the Tulsa Zoo Management, a gold sponsor. Roger Ramsire, Vice President and Oklahoma Market Leader of Cox Communications, a gold sponsor. Nicole Morgan, owner and CEO of Resolute PR, a gold sponsor. John Weiskiver, Executive Vice President of Strategic Communications of Grand River Dam Authority, a legislative benefactor. Austin Connors, General Manager of the Cox Business Convention Center, today's host sponsor. Seated on the front row, beginning on your far left, Chris Signolfi, CFO of One Gas, a legislative benefactor. Cherokee Nation Deputy Principal Chief Brian Warner, representing Cherokee Nation Business, a legislative benefactor. Jay Helm, Chairman of American Residential Group, a presenting sponsor. Greg Gallant, President and CEO of We Street Credit Union, a presenting sponsor. Tom Bielkini, immediate past chair of the Tulsa Regional Chamber and chairman of Vast Bank. Mike Neal, President and CEO of the Tulsa Regional Chamber. Bill Knight, President and owner of Bill Knight Automotive and chair-elect of the Tulsa Regional Chamber. And my best friend, and Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum. Seated to my immediate left, your right on the front row, Carrie Scholes, VP of Advancement and President of the TCC Foundation at the Tulsa Community College, a presenting sponsor. Dr. Ritu Singh, Chief Medical Officer of the St. Francis Health System, a presenting sponsor. Shannon O'Doherty, CEO of Commerce Bank, today's networking hour sponsor. Dr. Steve Tiger, Superintendent and CEO of Tulsa Tech, a legislative benefactor. Michael Junk, Manager of Public and Government Affairs at Quick Trip, a legislative benefactor. Leanne Strawler, President and Chief Operating Officer of Public Service Company of Oklahoma, a legislative benefactor. Councilor Phil Lakin Jr., Vice Chair of the Tulsa City Council and CEO of the Tulsa Community Foundation, representing the George Kaiser Family Foundation, a legislative benefactor. Tulsa County Commissioner Stan Salee, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. Seated on the back row, beginning on your far right, Aaron Fulkerson, Partner and Chief Development Officer at Schnocky Turnbow Frank, a gold sponsor. Kara Pettingell, Director of Membership of the Tulsa Country Club, a gold sponsor. Mike Cromie, owner and CEO of Luxor Enterprises, a gold sponsor. Chuck Mitchell, East Oklahoma Market Leader of CEC Enterprise, a gold sponsor. Dr. William Wilson, President of Oral Roberts University, a gold sponsor. Yep. Shelby Beal, President and CEO of TTCU Federal Credit Union, a gold sponsor. Chris Benj, Vice President of Operations for OSU Institute of Technology, representing OSU Center for Health Sciences, a gold sponsor. Kelly McEver, Senior Manager of Sales at Community Care, a gold sponsor. Tom Taylor, Chief Development Officer of Family and Children's Services, a gold sponsor. In addition to these sponsors seated at the head table, we owe a special thanks to Spirit Aerosystems, a presenting sponsor, One Oak, a gold sponsor, OU Health, a gold sponsor. Today's event is made possible by TES Productions. Also, thank you to each of our silver and corporate table sponsors, which are listed on the back of your programs. Please join me again for thanking all of our sponsors for their support. We also want to thank the dozens of local, county, and state and tribal elected officials, as well as representatives of congressional offices, for joining us today. Would you all still stand and be recognized? The Tulsa Regional Chamber has worked closely with Mayor Bynum for the past 8 years to drive economic growth and make Tulsa the best place in the country to live and do business. Today, we're excited to reflect on some of the accomplishments that have shaped Tulsa under his leadership. Please join us in celebrating those achievements with a special look back at the highlight of the last 8 years.
Without a doubt, the past 8 years have been transformative for Tulsa. Though many community leaders have played a part in this transformation, none have done more than Tulsa's 40th Mayor, G.T. Bynum. Elected in 2016 and re-elected in 2020, Mayor Bynum has brought people together through a shared vision to make Tulsa a globally competitive world-class city. Mayor Bynum has moved our city forward through an unwavering focus on fiscal responsibility, data and innovation, public safety, infrastructure, and equality of opportunity for all Tulsans. During Mayor Bynum's tenure, the Tulsa region has seen historic levels of economic development. Existing employers such as American Airlines, Webco Industries, and the Bama companies continue to reinvest in our community. And new employers such as Greenheck Group, Amazon, and Sofidel brought millions of dollars in new capital investment and thousands of new jobs to our region. New nonstop flights to destinations like Washington, D.C., Miami, and New York City have further linked Tulsa to the nation. And speaking of New York, Mayor Bynum and chamber leaders promoted the Tulsa region nationally to investors, visitors, and talent in conjunction with the Broadway opening of the Tony Award-winning The Outsiders musical.
The past 8 years have also seen tremendous growth in sports, tourism, and the arts in Tulsa. New venues, including the USA BMX headquarters, the Greenwood Rising Black Wall Street History Center, and the Bob Dylan Center, have created new engagement opportunities for residents and visitors alike. Tulsa hosted the PGA Championship for a record 5th time. The opening of Gathering Place transformed our city's riverfront and was named the nation's best city park by USA Today. More recently, the city came together to celebrate the opening of long-dreamt-of Arkansas River activities, including the renovated Zinc Lake, the new Tulsa Wave Park, and the Williams Crossing pedestrian bridge. In the near future, a brand new Gilcrease Museum will open its collections to the world. And Mayor Bynum has started the process for our city to have a much-needed convention center hotel.
Of course, every city faces challenges, and Tulsa is no exception. As our community has learned over 8 years, Mayor Bynum has served as a steadfast leader in the face of adversity, successfully managing the city's response to significant challenges facing Tulsa's growing community. Our region navigated numerous natural disasters, including a polar vortex, historic flooding, and devastating storms. As if that weren't enough, there was also a municipal cyber attack, a mass shooting, and a global pandemic. But thanks to Mayor Bynum's leadership, our city showed resilience in the face of every adversity.
Our city also found new solutions to make everyone safer and our city more efficient. Bus Rapid Transit now provides fast and frequent bus service with enhanced vehicles, stations, and rider amenities. Mayor Bynum bolstered safety through the Tulsa Police Department's Real-Time Information Center. This cutting-edge command center combines the power of data-driven insights, modern communication systems, and dedicated professionals who monitor and respond to incidents in real time. Tulsa has long been a city that invests in itself, and the fruits of those investments have been abundant during the past 8 years. Mayor Bynum's administration simultaneously implemented Improve Our Tulsa, the largest streets improvement program in Tulsa history, as well as Vision Tulsa, the largest economic development capital improvements program in Tulsa history. Mayor Bynum also spearheaded Improve Our Tulsa 3, an $814 million capital package that will continue Tulsa's success and fund critical improvements throughout the city.
From his earliest days in office, Mayor Bynum made equality of opportunity a cornerstone of his administration. He established the Mayor's Office of Resilience and Equity to implement the Resilient Tulsa Strategy, the city's first strategic plan to address racial disparities. Mayor Bynum also launched the New Tulsans Initiative, which is focused on making Tulsa a beacon of freedom and opportunity for immigrants from around the world. With more than 100 years of bringing no answers to families devastated by the Tulsa Race Massacre, Mayor Bynum committed to the ongoing search for unmarked graves and identification of victims. He also created a new city commission, Beyond Apology, tasked with advancing and restoring prosperity to North Tulsa residents and all those impacted by the massacre. And thanks to his determination, the city is now investing significant resources to address homelessness. Without a doubt, the past 8 years have been transformative for Tulsa. The state of our city is bright, thanks to the unwavering dedication of Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum.
How about that video? Now to introduce Mayor Bynum, please welcome Jason Collington, editor of the Tulsa World.
This is going to be a little bit different than the intros in the past at this event. I come to you as the editor of the Tulsa World, the news leader in this city for 119 years now. Over those years, the name Bynum has appeared more than 19,000 times in the Tulsa World. Before he comes up here, I flipped through the pages of the Tulsa World. I found a couple things. And today I will present the highlights that I found. But first, let's start at the very, very beginning. August 31st, 1977. Yes, our mayor's birth was announced in the Tulsa World on this day with the headline, "Mayor Gets a Grandson." The first paragraph reads, quote, "George T. Bynum IV will have lots of tradition going for him if he ever decides on a political career in Tulsa." GT was a coin collector as a kid. He was also into theater, and he could be found in many costumes in the pages of the Tulsa World. Here he dresses up as a mild-mannered Metro newspaper reporter who likes to take his glasses off to save the world. GT was also a Boy Scout, and here he is with his grandfather at the Boy Scout Jubilee. When he was 16, he served in the United States of Brahms, serving his country proudly. The first suit with his signature green tie was documented for the Tulsa World readers on May 16th, 2007, under the headline, "Williams & Williams hires a new director of corporate communications and public affairs." GT then started appearing in the Tulsa World's People and Places column. You may remember this, written by Danisu Walker, and at the time, edited by me. This is where the people leading nonprofit fundraisers would pose for the camera next to old cars, groovy vans. I do believe that GT was the first to do a finger gun in a Danisu photo in what looks like a staged robbery. Not quite sure. Also in 2008, he ran for city council. Here he gets a handshake from someone everyone knows who was very proud of him that day. Now, when you win a job on the city council in Tulsa, that's when the paparazzi starts showing up. I mean, if you're carrying around Curious George out in public like he's your own kid, that's newsworthy. GT as a city councilor did whatever needed to be done, like tap a keg. Everyone who has had a meeting with GT knows there are several looks that might come across his face. I have seen many of these faces over the years when he has met with the Tulsa World editorial board. This one I like to call, quote, "You are confidently wrong, but I am still listening." But serious, in the Tulsa World Archive, there are dozens of photos with captions that read, "GT Bynum listens and listens and listens." Now we jump to 2016, when GT runs for the mayor's office. It was an interesting race with a live debate that brought an uninvited guest. Look at GT taking it all in. When he won, we started to notice a huge percent increase in selfies. Oh, the selfies. If the mayor wants a book deal, he's got a beefy collection of selfies to choose from. Now, as mayor, as he found out, you must do a lot of things that aren't in the job description. Getting on the floor to celebrate basketball wins. And there's the reading to kids and putting on cowboy hats. You also have to start fighting fires. And sometimes you forget to take off the uniform before you get in the convertibles so you can start doing the waving during the parades. There's also the picking up of big checks. You can only cash those at big banks, I hear. There was also the tattoos. Heck, you have to start printing the Tulsa World. I mean, who's going to make sure the registration on photos is just perfect? Then there's the jumping out of airplanes to read to even more kids. And then the hitchhiking. But also the movie premieres. Many of us saw him on Zoom with his regular updates during the pandemic. We also found in the pages of the Tulsa World a lot of sides and sizes of the mayor. We saw Big Bynum. That's literally a planet next to him. And little bitty Bynum. There was Golden Driller Bynum and Animated Bynum, 918 Day Bynum, always thirsty, and Not Afraid to Get Down on Your Level Bynum. Of course, there's Waving Bynum. And the says things we all needed to hear at that moment Bynum. And finally, I end this with the blurry in the background Bynum handing off to the new leader of our city. Mayor Bynum's story and many others are told each day in the Tulsa World. I want to thank all the subscribers that are here at this event. Thank you, Mayor, for responding even when you knew that maybe that phone call from us was going to hurt a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, your mayor, Mayor G.T. Bynum.
I'm gonna say I've been waiting for a long time. I've been waiting in the sunshine, looking around like it's storming, drying out like it's about to stop. I'm looking for the noise.
Thank you all so much. Yeah, I loved that photo of Mayor Nichols and I felt like if you've seen Back to the Future, like Marty McFly watching his hand disappear as I disappear into history and Mayor Nichols pops forward. One, I want to say again, how awesome was Jolene Brown? Susan and I had the chance to see Jolene compete in the Day Center's annual fundraiser, the Big Show Off, which Tom Biachini helped organize, and she was just fantastic. She won it. And then the chamber organizes, or every year, a group of us to go down to South by Southwest to tell folks in the tech industry about how amazing Tulsa is. And Jolene had been performing at that, and total fluke, I ended up sitting next to her on the airplane on the way back to Tulsa from Austin and begged her. I was like, I have one more state of the city. Would you please sing the national anthem at it? And I'm so glad that she was available to do it today. I also want to thank Jason. As I told him, thanks a lot for making me cry before I even start talking. We are a rarity these days in Tulsa in that we have a local newspaper with local journalism, with local reporters who make sure that everybody in town knows what's happening at City Hall and at the county courthouse and at the state capitol. And one of my great fears for our future as a country is that we get to a point where local communities don't have that anymore, and we're all dependent on what somebody in D.C. or New York or L.A. thinks we need to know about, who doesn't know a dang thing about Tulsa. Everybody who cares about Tulsa, and I'm glad I can say this now that he already talked about me, everybody who cares about Tulsa ought to have a subscription to the Tulsa World. It is so important. But I want to thank the Tulsa Chamber for the strong partnership that you've provided during my 16 years at City Hall. I can't tell you how critical the Chamber has been to the success of so much that I'm going to highlight today. To Mike and the whole team at the Chamber, thank you for all that you do to move Tulsa forward. Everything in my life begins with my family. I'm thankful for the love and support that I've received from them throughout my time in this job. I'm grateful for the members of our family who could be here today. And in particular, I want to single out the light of my life. You will never know how much this city has benefited from her guidance over the last 8 years. She is the smartest person I know, the best strategic thinker I've ever met, my partner in everything that I do, and the vice president of the University of Oklahoma at Tulsa, Susan Bynum. And as I'm sure many of you can relate, I'm at a stage in my life where I think about the passage of time now, first and foremost as a dad. Susan is one of the people who was there on the day that I was sworn in April of 2008, but the other was this little guy, our son, Robert. Today, Robert is bigger than everyone in that photo. He's a senior in high school, the starting tight end on his football team, where he lays waste to any defender that gets in his way. He's going to crush Pryor in the playoffs on Friday, by the way. And he will be a freshman at the University of Oklahoma in the fall. I'm grateful he is here today, and I am so proud to be his dad. Our daughter, Annabelle, has a particularly close attachment to city government. The week before she was born, and this is something Susan will never let me live down, Susan and I met with our doctor, and she said that Susan could be induced that Wednesday, the next day, or the following Monday. And I pointed out during this conversation, as a city councilor, I actually had a perfect attendance record at city council meetings. And back then, the council met on Wednesdays, so it would really be better for my attendance record if Susan could just wait 6 days and be induced the following Monday. So Annabelle Bynum's birth was scheduled to accommodate the Tulsa City Council meeting schedule. Annabelle is now a freshman in high school, and she's both a state all-star lacrosse player and an award-winning author. And I'm very proud of her and grateful she's here today. I'm also honored to introduce my mom, Susie Bynum, the only Tulsan in the whole history of our city to be the child of one mayor and the parent of another. Mom and I actually attended our first Tulsa mayor's farewell speech back in April of 1978 when my granddad spoke to the city commission as he was leaving office. I don't really remember it because I was 8 months old at the time. But apparently I was kind of obnoxious, enough so that Mom gave me a box of Tic Tacs to shake in order to distract me so my granddad could get through his speech. And while 46 years have passed, I think my performance that night may end up being similar to what you hear today. Lots of yelling, crying, shaking of fists. But the big difference is that this time I have a police department at my disposal to keep my mom from interfering. Mom, thank you for everything. I know my colleagues from the Tulsa City Council are here, and our outgoing city auditor, Kathy Carter, as are members of the best team of public servants in any city in America, our City of Tulsa employees. One of the things I have loved most about this job is coming to work every day with our team at the City of Tulsa. They are selfless, courageous, and devoted to our community. I've drawn so much inspiration from working side by side with them, and I will miss that daily interaction with them greatly. I want to thank each of them for all that they do to make Tulsa a better city. So this is my 8th and final time to deliver a State of the City address to you. It's been the honor of my life to serve you as the mayor. I remember my very first mayoral debate back in 2016 when I was seeking this job. I said I didn't want Tulsa competing with Broken Arrow and Owasso and Jinx. I wanted us working with them to compete with Austin and Denver and Chicago. And after that debate, a very nice woman came up to me and she said, "You are so sweet to think that we can compete with those cities." I was not a minority viewpoint back in those days. And I think about her every time people ask me what our greatest accomplishment has been during the last 8 years, because there's no question about it in my mind. It's the main reason that I ran for this job in the first place. Our greatest triumph of the last 8 years is that we have renewed a spirit of high expectations. Today, we are working together as a metro area, and we are winning. Today, Tulsans don't just expect us to compete with great cities around the world, they expect us to win. And I think about my kids' generation who's growing up in our city right now. And they are growing up thinking, of course we have the greatest city park in America in Tulsa. Of course we have a lake in the middle of the river. Of course we're home to an Olympic sport. Of course we own the greatest collection of American art and history outside of DC. Think about what their generation is going to achieve with that bar raised in their minds. That's why I'm so optimistic about our future as a city. 8 years ago, the Tulsa City Council and I agreed on our goal. Tulsa should be a globally competitive, world-class city. And we define that through 3 main areas: public safety, equality of opportunity, and the built environment. When it comes to public safety, we've made great strides. In both the police and fire departments, we've been through the largest surge in hiring in Tulsa history. A third of sworn firefighters working today in the Tulsa Fire Department, and almost half of all sworn Tulsa police officers working today have been hired during this mayoral administration. In the Tulsa Police Department, we've made what officers tell me is the biggest advancement since radios were installed in squad cars: the creation of the Real-Time Information Center. The Real-Time Information Center brings modern technology and deploys it to officers out in the field to do their jobs more effectively and safely, averaging 40 calls for service a day from officers out in the field. Since we established it in August of last year, it has been used to solve multiple homicides, locate missing elderly Tulsans suffering from Alzheimer's, and recover over $3 million in stolen property. In the Tulsa Fire Department, we opened a new station in East Tulsa, serving one of the most in-demand areas, and we are modernizing our truck fleet after a decade of deferrals. These capital improvements, coupled with our surge in staffing, have added up to the Tulsa Fire Department being rated an ISO 1 fire service. That is the highest rating that a fire department can receive. So when I say we have one of the best fire departments in America, that isn't just mayoral pride. We have independent verification. And public safety isn't just the domain of the police and fire departments. In the 1970s, Tulsa was named the most flood-prone city in America. We have now been named by FEMA as having a flood rating of 1, making Tulsa one of only 2 cities in the entire country to reach the highest possible flood protection standard. Thanks to decades of commitment by voters and city officials, we have gone from one of the worst to one of the best when it comes to flood protection. And this generation of Tulsans has proven that it can hang with any prior generation when it comes to enduring and even thriving amidst disasters. As I've told you before, my friend Councilor Jeannie Q told me, the 8 years that I've been mayor are the worst 8 years Tulsa ever had. She has since clarified since last year's speech that she meant disasters. I don't think she's far off. We've managed our way through tornadoes, flooding, tornadoes while it was flooding, a polar vortex, a derecho, the largest cyber attack on any city in Oklahoma history, an economic collapse, a riot, civil unrest, the murder of a beloved police sergeant, a mass shooting at our city's foremost center of healing, and the greatest public health crisis in Tulsa history. And we made it through each of those and emerged stronger on the other side by helping each other out each step of the way. So today in 2024, we are a safer city than we were 8 years ago. Our drive to create equality of opportunity has been both challenging and historic. We want Tulsa to be a city where every kid has an equal opportunity for a great life. And if we want to achieve this, we have to recognize that there are many in Tulsa who historically have not had the same opportunities. Over the last 8 years, we've worked hard to change that. We established the Resilient Tulsa Strategy, Tulsa's first ever strategic plan to reduce racial disparities in our city. We created the Mayor's Office of Resilience and Equity, a team of people who come to work every day focused on executing that strategy. And we established the Tulsa Equality Indicators, an annual independent audit of inequality in our city, because you can't truly improve something if you're not measuring it. We recognize that one of the best vehicles for eliminating racial disparities in Tulsa is economic development. And so we've worked with the Tulsa Regional Chamber to recruit over $1 billion of investment into North Tulsa during the last 8 years. We've also systematized this approach by focusing on a merger of half a dozen city authorities into the Tulsa Authority for Economic Opportunity, also known as Partner Tulsa, our economic development authority that is chartered not with giving the mayor photo ops, but with the mission of using economic development to create equality of opportunity in our city. This generation of Tulsans has also had to take responsibility for things that were done before us and for things that weren't done before us. A good example of this is the search for the unmarked graves of Tulsa race massacre victims. We have convened some of the best archaeologists and forensic anthropologists in America for the last 5 years to search for those victims. Using DNA and genealogical technology never before deployed in human history, we were able this year to positively identify the first victim. C.L. Daniel served our country honorably in World War I. He was on a train from the West Coast headed home to Georgia when he stopped in Tulsa and was murdered in the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. And for 103 years, his family never knew where his body was. His mother died without knowing, until we called his family earlier this year to tell them that we had found him. That investigation continues, with the remains of many more people being analyzed in the hope of making similar reunifications. I'm grateful to you as Tulsans that you've stuck with this search so we can do right by these victims' families. And speaking of doing right by the families of 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre victims, we launched this year the Beyond Apology Commission with the goal of developing proposals for reparations benefiting victims' families. For too long, we have allowed this issue to be monopolized by trial lawyers when it should be a community discussion among neighbors. What I've learned is that the term reparations means different things to different people. It often never gets past debate over one form of reparations, levying a tax to make cash payments to descendants. But that is only one option, as a report issued earlier this year showed us. The reality is that economic development opportunities, educational scholarships, affordable housing opportunities, and many more other options are also considered reparations. So instead of getting hung up on that one word, reparations, I would ask that we think about this in the way that we as Tulsans do our best, out of compassion, to show our support and consideration for the descendants of our neighbors who were the victims of the worst thing that ever happened to our city. That's the goal of this commission, and I'm eager to see what they recommend. Now, our focus on creating equality of opportunity has also been very much focused on our immigrant community. We want Tulsa to be the best city in America for immigrants, and we do this through the New Tulsans Initiative. I have hosted 1,427 new Americans from 99 different countries at City Hall citizenship ceremonies since we began them in 2019. And every single time, I'm inspired that Tulsa and Oklahoma and America remain beacons of freedom and opportunity for people from all around the world. As mayor, I've placed a particular emphasis on gender equality. When I was sworn in December of 2016 into this job, there were 2 men for every woman on city authorities and boards. Today, women make up 51% of city board seats, the same percentage as our overall city population. We instituted an annual pay audit of city employees to make sure members of our team at the city are receiving equal pay for equal work. And with the support of the city council, we allocated hundreds of thousands of dollars in the first year to correct inequalities that existed that we weren't even aware of. With the Tulsa Women's Commission, we instituted the Mayor's Pay Equity Pledge for local employers to show that they also support equal pay for equal work. And today we have 47 employers signed on to that pledge, and I want to thank every single one of you. So today, in 2024, we are a city of greater opportunity for more people than ever before. Our work to build the city that we want to leave to future generations is easily the most visible change over the last 8 years. We are living through the greatest period of investment in the history of our city. And I'd love to tell you about every transformational project today, but Mayor Nichols would literally be sworn in 18 days from now before I was finished. So instead, I'm going to utilize that old belief that a picture says 1,000 words and show you just a few before and after shots of just from the last 8 years of what we have done as a community. We took a field and turned it into the campus of the Green Hat Group, one of Tulsa's fastest growing employers. We turned sandbars into Zinc Lake. We turned a gravel parking lot into Tulsa's Children's Museum, the Discovery Lab. We turned our riverfront into the greatest city park in America, the Gathering Place. We took a vacant restaurant and turned it into the beautiful 222 North Detroit office tower. We turned an abandoned industrial site and turned it into the home of an Olympic sport, USA BMX. We are turning our moldy, rusty police courts building into a public safety center that reflects the reverence that Tulsans have for our first responders. We turned an empty field into Amazon, one of the largest employers ever in our history. We turned an old playground into the Hope Playground, a playground for children of all physical abilities that is now a national model. We turned an empty field in East Tulsa into Tulsa Fire Station 33. We turned vacant land in North Tulsa into the Peoria Mohawk Business Park. We turned a shuttered rec center at McClure Park into the home of the Tulsa Glassblowing School. We are building a Veterans Medical Center and a home for the greatest collection of American art and history at Gilcrease Museum. And we built beautiful, affordable housing in West Tulsa while also building a center for the history of Black Wall Street at Greenwood Rising. Hold on, not done. We got more. We turned an empty field into Costco, a vacant arena into a convention center ballroom, an underutilized park into the best BMX track in Oklahoma, and a vacant mall into the Oilers Ice Center. We built the Langston University Nursing Center and Shields and the TCC Student Success Center and Santa Fe Square. We are turning an abandoned hospital into the Greenwood Entrepreneurship Initiative at Moton. We built a simulator training facility for the Oklahoma Air National Guard. The historic Swan Lake Fountain will run next week for the first time in decades. And Route 66 Village is now a must-see stop for international tourists driving down the Mother Road. We put a new face on this convention center. We modernized the Tulsa Zoo experience. We transformed public transportation with bus rapid transit, and we completed the most expensive street project in city history, Yale, Phil Lakin, between 81st and 91st. And I could go on. The scale of physical transformation that we have achieved in the last 8 years is historic. And so today, in 2024, we have built and will continue to build a city that we will be proud to leave to future generations of Tulsans. But just in the interest of full disclosure, not everything has improved during my time at City Hall. So I'm going to include one more. We turned that beautiful, dense head of hair into this horrifying land rush of baldness. I love, by the way, the look on the face of the dude in the background. He's like, the mayor should not be leaning forward with that hairline at this photo op. It reminds me of a story about George Washington I once heard when he was delivering a speech to this angry mob in 1783. And he tried to start reading a speech to them, and they were all worked up, but he couldn't read it. And so he takes his spectacles out and he says, "You'll have to pardon me, but I have grown blind in service to my country." And everyone starts weeping with gratitude, and the mob is dispelled. I hope when you see my bald spot for the rest of my life, you too weep with gratitude. Leaving the topic of my personal vanity. I'm also proud of the way that we've managed the city government, something that occupies most of a mayor's time, but which you rarely see. We have paved more miles of road than any mayoral administration in Tulsa history. We have made the Tulsa city government an international model for the use of data in decision-making and performance improvement. Every budget we've passed with the city council has been balanced. Every budget we passed with the city council was unanimously adopted because we worked closely together to create it. Having inherited a multi-million-dollar deficit, we leave Mayor Nichols with a budget surplus. Having inherited total cash reserves of approximately $19 million, we leave with them over $50 million, a 165% increase that protects our ability to keep providing critical services in the event of an economic downturn. Our rainy day fund alone is up over 1,000%. I've been asked by friends if I have regrets as I leave office. Of course. I would love to be leaving the mayor's office with every problem solved, so Mayor Nichols can just charge forward with his agenda and have nothing holding him back. But in the last few weeks, I realized I'm grinding my teeth through the day out of frustration because I see all these things that need to be addressed, but I don't have the time to fix them. The reality is that no mayor leaves office with every problem solved. We have only scratched the surface on addressing homelessness in our city. In some important respects, we remain in a legal limbo when it comes to our relationship with our tribal partners following the McGirt Supreme Court decision. And we must find ways to recruit more Tulsa police officers. Cities will always have challenges to address, and we as a community have a lot of work to do in addressing these. But when you look at where Tulsa has come in the last 8 years, Tulsa is safer. Tulsa has more people enjoying greater opportunity, and Tulsa is physically transformed for the better, in a way that makes us a model for cities around the world. The state of our city is strong. But just as important as what we've done is how we've done it. We accomplished all of this, returning to our greatest strength. When we work as a community of neighbors, helping one another rather than allowing the focus of division to distract us. To all of you who are willing to work in that effort as Tulsans rather than as Republicans or Democrats or independents, you have my thanks. We did it. We made a difference. We showed there is a better way. We renewed that spirit of high expectations. We left things better than we found them. For myself, I'm very excited about the opportunity to start the next phase of my public service career, working in service to a different team of heroes who save lives every day in our city, the St. Francis Health System. And for this city I love so much, I look forward to the future with great optimism. I'm excited for Mayor Nichols to take office on December 2nd. I first met him when I was elected to the city council 16 years ago, and he was an aide at the time to Mayor Kathy Taylor. He has been my friend ever since. We've served together, we've campaigned together, we've raised our boys together. But during the course of the campaign, I had some of our mutual friends reach out and ask me, how was I taking his assertion that things are going to be so much better after I'm out of office and he gets in? My response to them was the same as what I'll tell you today. I love it. I want a mayor who will challenge us to be better and aim higher. I want a mayor who expects us to be the best, who isn't satisfied with today. Cities only grow or decline. There is no status quo. And I'm grateful that Mayor Nichols shares that spirit of high expectations and continuous improvement, which allowed us to make so much progress over the last 8 years. Tulsa's best days are yet to come. For all of you here today, I do have one request as I leave. Don't let up. Keep aiming high. Keep expecting Tulsa to be one of the best cities in the world. Keep pushing Tulsa ahead of partisanship. Keep that spirit of expectations alive. The bickering and infighting which have plagued our city in the past, they will take a front seat when we aren't striving hard enough together toward big goals. Regardless of who you voted for last week, support our new mayor as he charts a bold course for our future. For the last 8 years, we have pursued big goals and we've met them, and I would never pretend to have done this alone. I am so grateful to have assembled a team in the mayor's office that came from all over the political spectrum. Yet what united them was greater than what divided them. They are all razor smart, they all have a fierce work ethic, and they all love Tulsa. I want to ask the people who served on my mayor's office team, if you're here today, I want you to come up here on this stage with me so we can close this out in the same way we've led for the last 8 years together. Come on, don't be shy. Still the flag. Them. In closing, a friend recently asked me if there's a photograph that captures what it's like to be mayor, and I immediately thought of this one. I've kept this picture in a frame on my desk for all 2,920 days that I have served as mayor. It's from our victory party on election night in 2016, and it captures what has driven me during my time as mayor. I've never thought of being mayor as a political job, maybe to my own detriment. To me, it is a chance to serve, motivated by love and gratitude. First, love and gratitude for those who came before us and strove to make Tulsa the best it could be for us. No one typifies that more to me than my granddad, Bob LaFortune. We owe those who came before us so much. And the best way that we in this generation can honor that is by carrying their spirit of high expectations forward. And second, it's love and gratitude for those who believe in what Tulsa can be, who are building their lives and pursuing their dreams right here and right now in our city. And there's no one with whom I have spent more time pursuing big dreams than Susan. So for those of you who believe, who don't listen to the little voices of doubt that question every big idea, you are building the city that we will leave to future generations. And I have given all that I have to help you live up to those hopes. This is what's motivated me for 8 years. Those 8 years that you gave me to serve you as the mayor, and the 8 years before that on the Tulsa City Council. And I couldn't help but think about that when we were at the premiere of The Outsiders on Broadway earlier this year. Based on a novel written by our fellow Tulsan, a novel written about Tulsa. It went on to win the Tony Award for Best Musical this year. And in it, my favorite song is Stay Gold. And as the lyrics go, 16 years. Look at all we've done. Wouldn't trade it for the world. Can't you see that we're the lucky ones? I've known a love that many never know, and our love lives on no matter where I go. My friend, stay gold. And those will be my closing words to you today. My friends, stay gold. Thank you.
Don't leave.
Okay.
You just stand over there.
Okay, yes, sir.
Don't leave. Mayor, you have truly stayed gold, my friend. And on behalf of the entire Tulsa Regional Chamber, the entire Northeast Oklahoma community, not simply Tulsans, but the entire Northeast Oklahoma community, and certainly our chamber, we want to say thank you. You've given your heart, you've given your soul, you've been a phenomenal, dynamic, inspirational leader. You've been a phenomenal partner to us. We've had a chance over the past 8 years, and really the past 16 years, to do some amazing things together. And from the bottom of my heart, and from the bottom of the heart of all of these 1,300 people in this room today, we want to present a little small token of our appreciation, a Tulsa Leadership Award, and I can think of no one that deserves it more than you, my friend. Good luck to you, and stay gold. What a historic event. The mayor talked about history, and I can think of never a more historic event than today. Thank you. Thank the mayor's team. Thank his friends. Thank his family. Thank all of you for being here today. You can't have a chamber event without sponsors. Again, thank all of you phenomenal sponsors. We are adjourned. Please stay safe, stay gold, and have a great rest of the day. Thank you for being here.